What's going on? I'm John, and in this writing vlog, I'm back for week 2 of writing my epic fantasy novel. This is also week 2 of my Camp NaNoWriMo and week 2 of my Novelist Apprenticeship. I had a lot of fun writing this week and made a ton of progress, so I am excited to share with you all that happened. Let's just get started. Okay, it is the first day of week 2 of my Camp NaNoWriMo and my Novelist Apprenticeship, and as you might remember from last time, I decided yesterday that the first character's arc was not fitting the genre of epic fantasy as well as I thought it was going to, and if I were to force it to fit that arc, then it wouldn't be satisfying what I wanted to do with that story of rising out of the caste system. So what I decided to do instead was start writing Ella's arc, and that is where I left off last time. Last time I got through the first 3 scenes, so I'm going to start on scene 4 and work my way through the second debate scene and maybe starting the break into 2. And also right now my word count is 34,290, so what I'm planning on doing is getting up to 39,800 or so to 40,000 words. We'll see how it goes with that. So I have a lot of writing to do, so today I'm not going to talk about a ton of random stuff. I'm just going to get started. Let's go. Okay, so it is 6:22 and I have written so far 36,258 words. As I mentioned before, my goal was to get to around 40,000 words today, and I've managed to knock out the first just about 2,000 words for the day. My brain is starting to feel a little tired, so I'm going to take a very quick break, and I'll be back to continue writing in just a bit. Okay, so I just got back from a very short break, and I'm ready to continue writing. I had just started the first of the debate scenes, and just written a few, 100 words in there. And I'm going to try to finish that debate scene and probably the next debate scene as well as part of this writing session, and maybe even get into the break into 2. It is 8:05 and I have already gotten to 38,255 words. So I really enjoyed writing this last few scenes actually. One of them included some sort of gossipy conversation from these 2 maids, and that was really fun to write. Those 2 were hilarious. So that was a lot of fun, but I'm getting a little bit tired here. I've been writing for around 4-ish hours so far, so I'm just about ready for a nice long break. And that is what I'm going to do right now. Today I don't really have a run, so I'm just going to chill at home, but I'm still going to take a little bit of break time now. I'll see you when I get back to continue writing. Okay, so where I left off, I was in the middle of the second of the debate scenes, and I have a little bit more than 1,500 words left to go. Potentially 1,700 if I decide to go to 40,000. But we'll see where I am in the writing, and if I'm at the beginning of a new scene, I might just stop at 1,500, so then I'm not wasting time getting into a new scene only for me to have to reacquaint myself with it again tomorrow. Okay, so I just finished my writing for the first day of week 2, and this was really easy actually. It flowed really easily. I enjoyed writing this character, and I think it's going to fit so much better with genre. And I think because it flowed so easily, I was able to write a little bit faster than I had in the past. So yes, I finished writing around 12:45 or so, and I got to 40,052 words. Also, today I wrote at about 1,054 words per hour in comparison to what I was usually getting, which was around mid-900s or so. So today was definitely a really productive writing day. I feel really good about how this is going, and I don't really have too much in the way of comments because it just went really well. There wasn't anything that I really had to remind myself of, or any things that I had to learn about in particular. The one thing I did focus on was making sure that I was actually including various personal character details, for instance, weaving in the character's flaws or talents, that sort of stuff, into the writing. So that is one thing that I actually did focus on. But otherwise, it was a pretty smooth sailing. Anyway, I will see you tomorrow with more writing and more progress on this story. Okay, so I'm back here for day 2 of week 2. I finished up yesterday at around 40,000 words, so I'm going to be aiming to get to 45,500. Also, yesterday I finished up in the middle of the break into 2, so I will probably finish the break into 2 all the way to some of these fun and games scenes. I'm not entirely sure how far I'm going to get, but maybe 2 or 3 of the fun and games scenes today. I am excited to get back into this writing, so I'm just going to start right now. Let's do it. Okay, it is 6:34. I'm a second away from running out of battery, and I got to 42,070 words. So I have been enjoying writing these last 2 scenes. They've been very fun so far, and this one especially is going to be very enjoyable. I'm right now in the process of writing the B story scene, but since my computer is just about to die, I'm going to go over and let it charge while I take a break. So I am back from my very short break, and I am ready to continue with my writing. Okay, so it is 8:44, and I have written so far 44,122 words. So as you might remember, I have been aiming for 45,500 words today, and so I only have about 1,400 or so words left until I reach that point. I am starting to feel a little bit tired, my brain is starting to go a little bit numb, so I think it's a perfect time for me to take a nice long break. Also, I just got to write a really cool scene, which was a lot of fun. So basically, this girl is trying to train. She wants to be a soldier, and the commander of this group that she joins is this like really big legend. And basically, you end up getting to see him fight a little bit. He's only sparring, and he's not giving 100% at all. But you get to kind of see a little glimpse into his, awesomeness. So that was fun. So anyway, right now I'm going to take my break, and today I have a nice long walk as my cross training. So I think I'm going 5 miles or so. That's what I'm going to be doing, and I will see you back in just a little bit. Okay, so I am back and ready for my 3rd writing session. While I was on my walk today, I took a little bit of time to think about what I want this first sort of story to look like, this first character. I'm not going to spoil anything here for you. I'm not going to give away very much right now, and I do think that I'm starting to piece together an interesting story here for them. That is where I am, at least with the replacement of this first character that I talked about last week. But for right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get back into the writing. It is already 12:27, so it is nearly 12:30, and I haven't even started my 3rd writing session yet, so it's a little bit late for me, but I only have 1,400 more words left. This might end up being 2-ish scenes. I might start the second one because the first scene that I'm going to write right now is only a sequel. Okay, it is 2:04, and a few minutes ago I just finished my writing for the day, and I'm at 45,602 words. Okay, so today the writing definitely felt smooth, although not as smooth as yesterday at all. As you can see, yesterday I was able to get 1,054 words per hour, whereas today I only got 925. So it definitely wasn't as smooth as yesterday, but I still did have a good writing day, and I did enjoy writing this, even though it was a little slower than yesterday's writing. However, today I did actually manage to write quite a bit. I worked all the way from the break into 2 to past the halfway point through the fun and games. And that was quite a few scenes if you know how long the fun and games is. So I'll see you with more writing tomorrow. What's going on? Today is day 3 of week 2 for me of NaNoWriMo and my writing apprenticeship. And today I'm going to get back into writing Ella's character arc. I finished off yesterday around this scene, well, in the middle of this scene in the fun and games. So I have about 3 more fun and games scenes besides this one. So I think I'll probably reach the midpoint today. I might be able to even write the midpoint today. Also, yesterday I finished off with 45,600 words. So today I'm looking to finish up with 51,100 or so, something around there. Okay, once again, it is 7 o'clock, and I'm also 1% battery again, and I've managed to reach 47,659 words. So I've already written about 2,000 words for the day, and I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and I'll come back to keep working on this some more. I'm in the middle of writing a really interesting scene where basically this character is kind of up against her rival throughout this process in the military. So this is going to be a really fun one to finish up. And then I'm going to get to continue going through the rest of the fun and games. Okay, so I'm back from my break, and now I am ready to continue writing this story. I am very excited to continue with this scene because I was having a lot of fun writing it so far. Okay, so it is now 9:05, almost 9:06, and I have gotten to 49,671 words. So I've already completed more than 4,000 words for the day, and now I just have around 1,500 or so to do when I get back. Yes, I am going to be taking a break because personally, I was feeling kind of tired even 300 words ago, so my eyes are just a little bit, they just feel a little tired of looking at the screen maybe, a little tired of sitting here and writing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on my break. Today is a long run, so I'm actually going to be gone for quite a while today. Today I'm doing 7.5 miles, I think. Yes. So today I'm going to be running 7.5 miles, so that means I'm going to be gone for quite a while and get a nice long break away from the screen. And of course, I am going to be doing other things like listening to Oathbringer and whatnot, so I'm going to take a nice long break before I come back and finish up this writing for the day. My legs are a little bit sore from the 7.5 miles, but I will be okay. Where I last left off, I was working on a scene that's kind of leading up to this duel, and now I'm going to actually get to write the duel itself. This dueling scene is the last scene of the fun and games, and then I'm going to be writing the midpoint next. So I'm probably going to have to write the midpoint to reach my goal of 5,500 or so for the day. Okay, so it is 1:44 and I have gotten to 51,186 words. And today I actually managed to write pretty quickly, so I ended up writing 1,015 words per hour. So faster than the previous day, but not as fast as my fastest. And actually that speed was probably a little slowed down by the fact that I had to do some research. Mostly stuff about like sword fighting and whatnot. I looked into a little bit of fencing stuff as well as just like swords and that sort of thing. So I did do a little bit of research here today. And even though normally I do opt for TKs in exchange of things that can be easily substituted, it wasn't like these things could be easily substituted. I'm not just swapping out like one word for something I don't know. I'm swapping out an entire fight scene basically because I don't know how to write it. So instead I actually just did some research to find out what I needed to know, and then I actually wrote the scenes. So I think this will be useful for me in the future when I have to understand how to write these scenes as well. And also today was like a total fight scene day. I wrote a brawl, I wrote an actual duel, and then I wrote the lead up to another duel which the POV character isn't participating in directly. And I also am still writing the midpoint. I didn't finish it yet, so I'll come back tomorrow to keep working on the midpoint and get it done then. And in other news, I totally forgot to mention this before, but I actually decided not to do the 2K to 10K video this week because I want to take some time to at least get started reading it. Hopefully I'll have some time pretty soon to actually read through it a little bit, so I at least know some of the things from the book that I can try out during an entire week. But I'm already really busy, and trying to read that on top of everything else before I actually get started writing doesn't really make sense since I prioritize the most difficult stuff first in the day. I am going to get started on reading that hopefully here soon, and that will allow me to actually make that video during a full week. Hopefully next week. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. I really enjoyed the writing today once again, and I am making very good progress in writing Ella's character arc. Okay, so here I am back for day 4 of week 2 of my Camp NaNoWriMo, as well as my Novelist Apprenticeship. So yesterday I left off midway through the midpoint. Today I'm going to finish that scene, as well as knocking out a few of these bad guys close-in scenes, maybe 3 or 4 of them. And because I'm currently at 51,186 words. I want to get to around 56,700 or so words. Okay, so it is 7:10 and I do have low battery, but not as bad as yesterday. And so far I've written up till 53,262 words. So I finished my first 2,000 word session here. It was a little bit slow, or it felt a little bit slow today, and I think part of that was me writing dialogue. I tend to write dialogue pretty slowly because I'm trying to think of what the person would actually be thinking and then what that would cause them to say and whatnot. So it took a little bit longer today, and I'm frankly ready for a break. So I'm gonna go outside for a little bit and just relax out there. Okay, so I'm gonna be completely open and transparent with you right now, and I'm just gonna say I'm feeling relatively tired, just like a little worn out. Like, I've been doing this for a long time. I've been writing every single day since last Monday. So actually, yeah, it's been a full week of me writing 5,500 plus words every single day. I'm a little tired. That's where I am currently. And this sort of moment of feeling tired, of feeling just like a little worn out, just not feeling like doing this right now, presents me with a unique opportunity. And basically, I have the choice of, I can say, I don't feel good. So because I don't feel the way I want to feel, I'm just gonna not do what I said I was gonna do. And I guess that's one choice. I don't personally think it's a very good one, because if you're just going to go by what you feel, then you're not gonna be able to do very much, since you're not gonna feel like doing stuff all the time, especially hard things. So what I'm doing instead, the alternative path that I'm taking instead, is looking at this as an opportunity. This is an opportunity for me to grow. It's an opportunity for me to become stronger, to push past any sort of feelings of just discomfort, and being willing to sit with that discomfort and let that discomfort be part of what I'm doing, just being okay with that. And to be quite honest, you can also turn this into very powerful self-talk. So for instance, I could say something like, I'm the type of person who's willing to do what others won't. I'm the type of person who goes harder when others are quitting. And when things get tough and I want to quit and I want to stop, I actually go harder instead. So that's what I'm going to be doing right now. I'm going to be relying on this positive state, this positive self-talk, to get myself back on track and get myself going, so that I'm not here just sitting and wallowing and being like, I feel so tired, so I don't really want to write. I want to procrastinate writing. No. I am on a tight schedule here. I just wanted to take a moment to tell you what's up, and I'm going to get back into my writing right now. Okay, so it is 9:02 and I managed to write up till 55,216 words. Okay, so that last writing session was actually pretty hard, honestly. I feel like it was just a little bit slow. I'm not too sure about this area that I am in the story right now. The scenes that I was writing were kind of difficult, and I think these are some that I'm going to have to fix up a decent amount. Something just felt wrong about it, but I didn't really know what it was, and I didn't really know how to fix it yet. So I think I'm going to rely on editing to actually come back and read over it with fresh eyes, and then I hopefully will be able to see what's wrong and be able to fix them. But because I was having this feeling like something wasn't really working, I kept stopping and starting, and it slowed down things a little bit. I'm getting pretty far along in the bad guys close in, so hopefully getting to some of these later scenes will give me direction, because I know that these later scenes are pretty tight. Anyway, that's all I've got for now. I'm feeling really tired, so I am ready to take a nice long break, and I'll be back to write the last 1,500 or so words of this for the day. Okay, so I last left off in one of these bad guys close in scenes, and I left off at about 55,200 words. So to reach my goal, which was 56,700, I need to write another 1,500 words. So I'm just going to get started right now. I'm going to be working through the rest of this bad guys close-in scene and probably start another bad guys close-in scene. There's so many. Okay, so it is just about 1 o'clock and I have just reached 56,770 words. So today was actually a good day of writing for me, and I ended up writing faster than I thought. Today I ended up writing about 1,050 words per hour, which is one of my faster days, actually. That is the fastest day that I've had besides the 1,054. It didn't actually feel that fast though. For some reason, I think it's because of the start and stop nature of my writing today. I was stopping to think about things, and then I would just write pretty quickly for a period and, repeat that over and over again. And I think because of that, it felt a little slower than it actually was. And I think the reason why it was so stop and start today is that I'm starting to feel like there are some problems with this character arc as well. Of course, I am past the midpoint, and of course, I'm starting to get some of those things where I just feel like the story's not moving enough. I actually did hear something interesting about this phenomenon, and that might actually be relevant for my story, but I'm not sure. Basically, somebody said that if the middle of the story is feeling a little bit slow, it's probably because the stakes haven't been increased. And I actually do think that might be relevant here, but I also thought of some other reasons why this might be the case. I feel like this character needs another subplot weaving in through the second half, because I wrapped up a lot of the subplots before the midpoint, and I feel like she's kind of just doing similar stuff scene after scene, so it's obviously not that engaging. So I need to fix that, obviously. And I think one reason why this might be happening is that I haven't really given her much in the way of relationships. Like, she has a best friend that is from her hometown and whatnot, and he's there, but he's busy with other stuff, so they don't get to spend that much time together. And she has a rival character, and then she has her mentor character or whatever. But I feel like I need another friend character that's a little bit closer, that might be able to provide some sort of humor or something, and as well just give her some lighter moments in the story, some more human moments where she's connecting with this character or whatever. And I do think that could help make this part of the story feel a little bit better. So I might work on fixing up some of the outline that I have with regard to this part of the story for the character, and make some adjustments there, or I might just come back and fix these problems when I do some editing. We'll see what I actually have time for and how it's all working out. But I mean, the way that I'm writing through these scenes, I would have to outline it or fix the outline stuff today probably, if I actually wanted to fix some of these problems, because I'm going to be to the all is lost and all those, ending sorts of scenes pretty soon. So I am back here for day 5 of week 2, and as I mentioned yesterday, I noticed that there were some problems with the story just feeling like it was a little bit repetitive, as well as the stakes not being raised enough. I actually went back and I re-outlined some of these scenes, starting from this one, which is the one I'm going to write next, all the way to the break into 3. That's going to be more than I end up writing today probably, so I won't have to worry about it. But I'm also going to go back and fix up some of these finale scenes afterward, because that's going to change since I've changed the story and raised the stakes a little bit more. So I did that outlining, and now I'm actually ready to write these new scenes, and I think that these will be better and more fun to write since they're so much more exciting. I think that's a really good indicator actually to pay attention to. If you feel like you're writing, it feels kind of like you're grinding, or it just feels like it's not that interesting, then it's not going to be that interesting for the reader either. So it makes sense to actually take those cues as a sign that you should change something about the story. So anyway, let's actually get started on thinking about this writing here. So I was at 56,700 or so words yesterday. So that means that I want to get to around 62,300 words here today. So that is what I'm going to be aiming to write. I don't know how many scenes I'm going to get through, but I probably will get to some of the Dark Night of the Soul sort of stuff. And I'm looking forward to getting there, because I've just ramped everything up and it'll be more interesting than it even was before. Okay, so it is 7:44 and I have gotten to 58,963 words. It is quite late already, actually. I have been writing for a long time here, for 2.5 hours or more already. But I only finished just a bit over 2,000 words. And I think this is because of one main factor here, and that is I was writing a lot of dialogue, especially the dialogue at the beginning in that first scene that I was writing was a really hard moment. It was really difficult and complicated, and I needed to think about what both of them would want to say in that moment. And because of that, it probably took me maybe 15 to 30 minutes just to write a few lines of dialogue there. So dialogue is definitely my limiting factor. It slows me down all the time. But I'm going to take a little bit of a break, and then I will come back to continue writing until I reach the 4,000 or so point. Okay, so I'm back from my short break, and in the last writing session, I finished the All is Lost scene. So I now have the Dark Night of the Soul to dig into. So I'm just going to get right into writing the new versions of these, and hopefully it will be amazing. Okay, it is 9:50 now, and I have managed to get to 61,000 words-ish. I didn't read the account this time, but you get the point. I'm at about 61,000 words out of, I wanted to get to 62.7. I don't remember where it was, but 62 something rather. Anyway, I'm doing pretty well so far. I actually really enjoyed writing these last few scenes. The Dark Night of the Soul scenes were relatively quick, so I'm already into the Break Into 3 scene, and I think I'm close to the end of that one as well. So I might actually have to plot out some more scenes to write when I get back, because I have, still 1,000 something words left to go. But for now, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I think today I might actually go swim instead of run. And this is because my legs have felt a little bit beat up. So I'm just going to try to swim the equivalent of what I would normally run and let that be like my cardiovascular movement and whatnot. And hopefully it will be less taxing on my legs and it will make it easier for me to recover. I'm planning on swimming a decent amount this week because I think that I could really use a week to just kind of give my legs a break and really let them get some recovery in. Okay. So apparently swimming is a lot more difficult for me than running. I think it's just because I'm not used to having to hold my breath during the actual movement so often. So it's really hard actually. I can't believe that Haruki Murakami does 1,500 meters. So yeah, that's pretty brutal. I don't know. I'm gonna have to get a lot better at swimming if I'm gonna be able to do 1,500 meter days. Anyway though, it was fun. I did 500 meters today. Anyway, I'm gonna go back home and then I'll get back to writing. Okay, so it has been quite a while since I was writing, but I am back from my break and I am very much ready to get back to this. I was just reading a bunch of Oathbringer and it made me think of some ideas, not specific like things from the story, but like kind of tools that he was using to tell the story. And I was like, that might be interesting to do. And I had a realization about the current scene that I was writing, so I was like, okay, we need to stop reading and get back to writing. So here I am, and I'm just going to get right into it. I will be back in a little bit to tell you how it all went, but for now, let's write. Okay, so it is 2:03, and I've reached 62,325 words. So today I do feel like I wrote a little more slowly, but I don't think I was actually writing more slowly. I think what happened was I had more to do. So basically I only wrote 794 words per hour today, but I think a big part of the reason why is because of what happened with plotting and whatnot. So as I showed you yesterday, I had gone through and I had replotted some of these scenes out basically. I started off writing the last bad guys close in scene and I had replotted All is Lost and all of those and whatnot. But the problem was I actually got past all of these scenes and into the finale and I hadn't replotted out some of these scenes. So I had to stop and take time away and actually plot out these scenes. And having to stop and do this definitely slowed me down a bunch. Between that and the dialogue that I had at the beginning of the day that really slowed down my writing, overall it was a pretty slow day, but I still did manage to write actually the exact number of words that I'm supposed to, which is 5,555 words. It was a good day anyway, but it just took a little longer to achieve than normal. And I also wanted to share one thing I'm noticing from this process, which I think is really cool. Because I'm writing so fast, and because I'm working my way all the way through an entire character arc, one after the other, it's really letting me see flaws in the way that I currently try to construct these plots and these character arcs. So for example, I had a few observations from when I was writing the first character's arc. I felt like it was feeling a little flat, and I realized later on is that that was because I wasn't raising the stakes enough. So I wasn't being mean enough to my characters, basically. I wasn't making it hard enough for them, and because of that, the story just felt like it wasn't increasing in tension as time went on. The second thing that I noticed as well is that I tend to be too repetitive in the bad guys close-in scenes. Because of the way I plot out the fun and game scenes, I'm opening up a bunch of subplots that will help the character, improve and get ready for the latter half of the story. But I've been closing off a lot of these subplots before the fun and games ends or before the midpoint, and that leaves me with a very simple, linear plot after the midpoint. And I think that this sort of plot is becoming too straightforward and it ends up feeling kind of boring. So I'm also going to make sure that I'm being aware of this and fixing this problem as well. Making sure that I'm keeping some sort of variety. I'm not just repeating the same beats or the same types of scenes over and over again. Those are the main things that I have been learning from this process so far, and I anticipate that I will learn even more as I continue to work through this process, and especially when I get into editing and I get to see all the mistakes that I made, then I will really learn some new stuff. So that's all I've got for today. I really enjoyed the writing process today, even though it took for friggin' ever, and I will be back tomorrow to write some more. See you then. What's going on? Today is day 6 of week 2, and today is actually the last day that I'm going to be writing for this week, because tomorrow I'm going to be taking a break. So today is the last day of this week of writing, and it is also potentially the last day of me writing this second character arc, of me writing Ella's arc. And this realization is, first of all, a cool thing, because yes, I am finished with the second character arc almost. That's awesome. But it also brings up a little bit of an issue, because I still haven't started even plotting out the first character's arc again. I've been thinking of some ideas for what sort of events could happen in the story and what I want it to look like generally, but I haven't really taken the time to sit down and actually figure out what it's going to look like. So I do need to do that, but for now, let's just start working on Ella's arc, and let's try to finish this up today, shall we? I'll potentially have to start on Lucian's as well today, because of the fact that there's not that much left. There's only 3 finale scenes, which are going to be pretty short, and then 1 final image scene. I don't know if that's even 5,500 words. Anyway, yesterday I left off at around 62,300 words, so today that means I'd like to finish up at 67,800 words or so. So that is what I'm aiming to hit, so I'm very much looking forward to getting right into this and writing this story. Let's go. So it is 6:16 and I am at 64,345 words. I didn't even really look at the word count. I was just writing, and I ended up finishing the last scene of the finale, and I looked down and noticed, oh, I'm already over 2,000 words. So I am itching to get into this last little bit, into the closing image, I'll call it. Screw you, Save the Cat. I call it the closing image. It makes so much more sense. There's an opening image. There should be a closing image, not a final image. Well, anyway, that's my own very opinionated point of view. But that's just semantics. I want to get back into writing this in just a little bit, but for now, I'm going to take a little bit of a break. I'm just going to go and chill. Okay, so I'm back from my very short break, and now I'm ready to begin writing the very last scene in Ella's arc. What? I am almost done with the first draft of one of these characters. Let's go. It was definitely shorter than 50,000 words. Right now it's about 35,000 words, maybe even less than that. So I think I'll probably come back in and I'll add another sort of subplot. And it's going to be a subplot of her learning this type of magic. I was originally planning on her only learning it very late in the story, but I think that because it takes a decent amount of time to learn, it makes sense to introduce it a little earlier, and that will add some other scenes to her story. But for now, I'm not going to worry about that. For now, I'm just going to get into the actual writing. I'm going to write this last scene, and then I'm going to move on to Lucian's story, and I will start writing that. Okay, so it is 8:24 and I am at 66,431 words. So first things first here, I actually did end up finishing Ella's arc just now. I wrote the entire last scene, the closing image, and I also just got started on the first evolutions scenes. I'm just kind of opening things up. I'm trying to remember all these freaking characters that live in the palace, so there's definitely a lot to learn here and to get used to, but I think once I get past the first few scenes, it'll be easier for me to remember the main actors, these main members of the house that are the most important. I'm going to continue with writing Lucian's scenes when I get back, but I'm starting to get a little tired. My eyes are starting to glaze over a little bit, so it's about time to take a little bit of a break. So I'm going to take the usual midday break. I'm going to go for another swim today, and I'm going to try to swim more today. I would like to swim 30 lengths if I could, because that would be half of what Haruki Murakami does at least, 750 meters. That's what I'm going for. I'm going to swim that far. And I would like to eventually work my way up to the 1500 so that I can use those swimming days to give my legs a little bit of a break from running. That is what I'm going to do, and I'm going to be training myself in swimming. I looked at some videos last night on YouTube actually about swimming because I was like, I need to make sure that my form is good so I'm not just like wasting a ton of energy, right? So I looked up some videos in Japanese actually on YouTube, and I was like taking some friggin' lessons from this university guy, some swim team guy at the university. I got some drills to do today. Anyway, I will see you back in just a bit. Today was day 2 of swimming again, and it was even harder than yesterday. Today I ended up doing 750 meters instead of just 500 like yesterday. My muscles are sore, so I'm ready to go home and chill and do my writing, of course. I don't know what it is, but swimming is just making me sore, man. It's intense. As I mentioned before, I finished up with Ella's arc, so now it is time for me to continue with the first scene of Lucian's, and I'll probably write maybe another one or two, get into the setup scenes. I'm very much looking forward to doing this, and I'm just gonna get right into it because it's time to write, baby. So I just finished my writing a few minutes ago around 12:45, and I am at 68,005 words. So today was a really good day of writing, and actually a really fun day of writing too, and I think that allowed me to write relatively fast. Today I ended up writing about 1,005 words per hour. It's not as fast as I would like, obviously, and not as fast as I've done before, and it actually felt really fast, but I think the main reason why it was slower than some of my other days is because of the fact that I had to look up a lot of details for this new character's arc. Starting on Lucian's arc, this is the arc that has the most characters and the most details to look up as far as world building. It's the most complicated of the 3 different character arcs. Well, I haven't really finished redoing the first one yet. I still think it will be the most complicated after finishing the first one, but I can't make any promises yet. So tomorrow I'm going to be taking a day to rest, and for full disclosure, it's not really going to be pure rest. I am going to be doing some filming and editing for this video, but I am not going to be doing any writing. I'm going to be giving my creativity a little bit of a break at least, and hopefully getting a little bit more of a relaxed day where I'm not spending quite as much time on all of this stuff. Even though it's not a proper rest day, it is going to make the future days of this challenge easier because I won't have to spend as much time on editing to catch up and have a video out for you. That is all I've got for today. I am honestly really loving this challenge, and I'm having a ton of fun writing this story. This week was a lot of fun as far as writing, and I'm loving Ella as a character. I'm starting to get into Lucian and love him as a character as well. This is going to be a whole lot of fun, and I cannot wait for next week when I get to continue with writing this story. Okay, so this week was a lot of fun, and one thing I noticed this week is that I do feel like I've completely adapted to writing 5,500 words a day. I'm very much used to it at this point, and it just feels like another day. And this is great because originally when I was first thinking about this challenge, and I remember the night before I started the challenge, I was thinking, oh my gosh, what if I'm struggling to write 5,500 words a day? What if it takes me 8 hours or something insane, and it takes up my whole day, and I have to do that every single day? I do not want to live that life. And although it is taking a very big role in my life, I'm still able to do a lot of the things I like to do. I'm still able to read fantasy mostly, of course, and learn a lot about this genre. I'm still able to do my immersion, to listen to a bunch of Japanese stuff, to watch shows and stories in Japanese, still able to do my exercise, my running, and more recently my swimming. So even though I've taken on this huge workload of writing, I found a way to integrate it into my life that is enjoyable and sustainable. And I'm very much happy that this is the case, because at first I was worried about that. So first, let's talk about some sort of adjustments that I'm going to make for next week or for the future announcements sort of. And then I'm going to get into the most important lesson that I learned from this week. So first, adjustments, announcements. Okay, so I did have one sort of failure, you could say, this week. I failed to start reading 2K to 10K again. Honestly, I've just been really busy and I only have access to this book as an ebook. And as much as I like reading ebooks, as much as I like reading, the normal way, I really prefer to read nonfiction books as audiobooks and listen to them while I'm driving or while I'm doing laundry or eating or exercising or any number of those sorts of things. And unfortunately, in using my Kindle, I can't really do that. I can't take it with me in the water while I'm swimming and do like backstroke with one hand. I can't like run through the street while I'm holding my Kindle up. Oh, next page. Oh. And then get hit by a freaking car. So no, I have not started reading 2K to 10K. I do still plan to actually read this book, even if I have to read like a summary, because the main thing I'm looking for are the lessons, the things that I can actually take away and apply to my life. So I do definitely feel bad that I have promised this to you and that I've told you that I was going to make this video and then I haven't made it yet. However, I am going to make this video. It's just going to take a little bit longer than I was planning because of the current busyness in my life brought on by taking on this challenge. So now I want to share with you the most important lesson that I learned from this week. And I think this is actually a really useful thing that basically any sort of writer can apply to their life. If you're a pantser, if you're a plotter, whatever you're doing, I think this would be useful for you. And this lesson is to listen to your emotions while you're writing. If you're starting to feel bored, if you're feeling like you're not really that interested in the scene that you're writing, then that is a very good sign that you should stop and reconsider how you can actually make this scene more interesting. Had this happen to me during the later stages of writing the story, during the bad guys close in, the second half of the second act, I have had these moments where I'm feeling like this scene just isn't really that interesting, and the natural temptation can be just to continue writing, to work your way through the scene. And if you plotted, this is exactly how you plotted it out. It's supposed to go like this. But rather than continuing, I think it would be more useful to stop, take a moment to think about how you could actually make this scene more interesting and engaging, and how you could make it a scene that you would enjoy writing. And then you know that if you enjoy writing it, if this scene is inherently interesting, then readers will likely enjoy it as well. So that is my main takeaway for this week. I hope it's going to be useful for you. It was definitely very useful for me, and I look forward to calling myself out when I'm in the middle of writing a scene and feeling like it's a little bit boring or like I'm just grinding my way through it. That could be a sign that I need to stop and actually think about how I can make this scene better. And now I'm curious, if you're taking on Camp NaNoWriMo, how is this process going for you? How was your second week? And if you aren't taking on Camp NaNoWriMo, what are you working on as an author right now? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure to smash that like button so that YouTube knows to share with other writers like you. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. I seriously don't know what that was. What's going on? Today is day... what the heck is this? Anyway. Tell me what you see. Okay, so I have just gotten back, well, not just, but